Before I start this video, there's something I'd like to say. Anyone who knows this channel for a while also knows about Dragon Ball Hakai, which is one of the biggest Dragon Ball fan stories in the entire world. Producing Dragon Ball Hakai has been a dream for all of us here at the Hakai channel, especially because of you who really like our story. But unfortunately, Dragon Ball Hakai may end, and the reason for this is that although we love producing this story very much, the production costs are very high, and we are no longer able to sustain this cost alone. To continue with Dragon Ball Hakai, we need the support of those of you who love this story, and you can do it from a very small amount, like $5 a month. By helping the channel financially, in addition to helping continue Dragon Ball Hakai production, you'll have access to benefits that I'm sure you'll enjoy. So, check out our Patreon to find more. I'll leave a link in the description of this video. I'm not kidding, guys. Dragon Ball Hakai needs you to stay alive, so please help us if you can. Hakai.
Previously on Dragon Ball Hakai Special, the story of Beerus. After breaking free from the Makai world thanks to an imprudence of Beerus, Demiurges will immediately attack Gazan, the Supreme Kai of Universe 7, in order to also kill the God of Destruction, Taron. Gazan fights very well and resists as best he can until Taron finally arrives to help, but in the end both end up being killed thanks to a cunning trick of the Supreme Demon God. Before dying, Taron promises Demiurges that Beerus will defeat him and asks Whis to take care of his disciple. In the Makai world, all seems lost for Beerus until Whis arrives to rescue him, saying they need to talk. With the death of the God of Creation and the God of Destruction, Universe 7 is completely vulnerable to the Demon God's actions. Will Beerus and the others be able to stop Demiurges' demonic plans? Find out now. Chapter 6. The Rise of the New Gods. After assassinating the God of Creation Gazan and the God of Destruction Taron, the Supreme Demon God Demiurges began a campaign of destruction and terror across the universe. Just as Demiurges had promised Beerus before, one of his first targets was the young warrior's home planet, Planet Nekosei, and the people of Beerus, the Nekosasians, were slaughtered by the demon god's demonic hordes. The planet's warriors even tried to resist, but resistance is futile in the face of so many enemies. Demiurges observes everything from above until the presence of other people catches his attention. One of those people who just arrived says, with a smile of satisfaction, that their plan worked. Who says this is Garoga, the god of destruction of Universe 6, who is accompanied by the Supreme Kai of his universe, and also the weird witch who set the trap for Beerus and Champa. Demiurges agrees with Garoga's words about the plan having worked. Thanks to that witch, the powerful demon of his world attacked the people of Beerus, and that caught Taron's attention and brought him and his disciple to his world. And by manipulating Beerus' tainted heart, the demon god brought the boy back to him full of fury. That way he increased his powers and was able to kill Gazan, and consequently also kill Taron. It was the perfect plan. Garoga reminds Demiurges that all this only worked thanks to them. It was he, Garoga, who came up with the idea of using Universe 7's demons as part of the plan, and it was Nua who found this witch to help carry out the plan. For them, the death of Taron and Gazan is a great reward, but Garoga still wants to have one advantage or another from Universe 7 in the future. Demiurges agrees, assuring that when they need an ally in this universe, they certainly will. The old witch interrupts the conversation by saying that she is happy that everyone is satisfied, but now she wants her part of the bargain. She wants to become a goddess, but to the woman's surprise, her demand causes much laughter from the others. Garoga is the one who gives her the bad news. They don't intend to honor their agreement. Does she think a decrepit mummy like her can achieve godhood? What a joke. Furious, the witch insists, reminding him that they have an agreement, and they promised her that. This talk annoys the Universe 6's destroyer, who tells the woman that she has to feel grateful just for being able to help the gods with something. She has to put herself in her place. In a threatening tone, the witch says that no one breaks an agreement with her and goes unpunished. After that, she escapes through a portal. Nua is a little concerned, suggesting that they should go after her. But Garoga says it's not necessary. An inferior being like her can't do anything against a god of destruction. The only thing that matters now is that they accomplish their goals. Now Universe 7 will become a true chaos, and everything that Taron stood for will be tarnished forever. Some days had already passed since the death of Taron and Gazan and the attack and extermination of the people of Nekosei. Beerus, Champa, and Ro have been on the planet of destruction ever since, extremely depressed. Beerus, Champa, and Ro are depressed, reflecting on their defeat when Whis arrives from a meeting with the Grand Zeno and the Grand Priest. He explains that since the day of Taron and Gazan's death, Demiurges has been causing widespread chaos throughout the universe. And according to the Angel for Daishinkan and Zeno, this situation is untenable. They have given 1 month for the situation to be resolved, or else Universe 7 will be erased. But Beerus doesn't seem to have any hope of resolving the situation. He says that cretinous god was right. He is not fit to be a god of destruction. He's weak. He couldn't defeat Demiurges, and everything that happened was his fault. Ro shares the same lack of motivation as Beerus, saying that he is not prepared to be the god of creation either. He's still very weak and inexperienced, and because of this Gazan could not be saved. Besides, he still doesn't know how to be a god, and he can never be as good as Gazan was. But to everyone's surprise, Champa gets up completely furious, asking what kind of aspirant rabble gods they are. First, speaking with Ro, Champa asks how it is possible that he was the apprentice of the Supreme Whatever, and did not learn anything from him. Is he an idiot? Besides, with that idiot face he has, no one expects him to be brilliant. He just needs to be average, and that would be pretty good. Faced with such an inspiring motivational speech, Ro reflects for a moment, then sheepishly agrees to give it a try. After convincing one would-be god, Champa turns to the other. He asks Beerus how he, who always thinks he's better than everyone else, can allow that bastard to destroy their people and go unpunished. He was bragging all the time about being the apprentice of the god of destruction, but now that trouble appears. Will he chicken out? Doesn't even look like him. He must be a man and clean up his own mess. Beerus is furious with his brother. Who does this stupid loser think he's talking to? He won't listen. All this shit from an idiot like him. Addressing Whis, Beerus demands that they begin training immediately. Whis is amazed that he didn't have to do anything to convince the younger ones. He agrees. Training must begin immediately, but warns that unfortunately, it's very likely that Beerus' power alone will not be enough to defeat Demiurges. This leaves the young warrior a little disappointed. What is Whis talking about? The Angel reminds them that they only have a month until Zeno interferes with the Universe 7 situation, and explains that even if his training methods are very effective, it is unlikely that he will be able to make Beerus stronger than Demiurges in such a short time. This set off a red flag in Beerus. What are they going to do then? But Whis, already thinking about the solution, asks Champa if he would accept becoming a god of destruction candidate. With a smile in his mouth and tears in his eyes, the chubby brother seems to receive that invitation with great joy and emotion, but he decides to respond with a colder and more indifferent attitude. If there is no other way, he accepts. Whis is overjoyed at the answer, saying they should start training right away. He will take them to another dimension, where they will be able to train with complete freedom. But aren't they forgetting something? And what about Ro? What should he do? Pointing his staff at the Kaioshin apprentice, Whis makes the Z-sword appear before him, which Ro clumsily grabs. After giving Ro the sword, Whis says that Beerus and Champa might need his help, so he should train his skills as well. The young apprentice looks at the sword with great pride. It is this sword his master wielded, and his master as well. He will make himself worthy to use it. While Ro trains his skills individually with the Z-sword, Whis takes Beerus and Champa to a dimension inside his staff, and there begins an intense training with the two. In this way, the new gods begin to be trained, and in a race against time, they need to become stronger to face this great threat. Roughly a month passed, and in that time, Beerus, Champa, and Ro honed their skills, while the demon god Demiurges, who had made planet Nekosei his headquarters, watched over all the destruction his demonic hordes wrought across the universe. Sitting on his diabolical throne while watching some macabre spectacle that takes place somewhere in the universe, Demiurges claims to like it. When some people try to resist his demonic hordes, for him, it is always very pleasant to watch a bloodbath. But the demon god switches his attention to another type of entertainment, noticing that he has visitors. These visitors are Beerus, Champa, and Ro, who arrive on the planet via some kind of teleportation, presumably Ro's Kaikai. Once they arrive, the planet's demonic hordes immediately sense the presence of the invaders and rush towards them to attack. Making the Z-sword appear in his hand, Ro makes his fighting stance as he tells Beerus and Champa to proceed, stating that he will take care of these enemies himself. Beerus agrees, saying they'll leave it up to him. And after that, he and Champa head towards the dark castle of the demon god. Off the planet in space is Whis, who watches everything that is happening, curious to see what the new gods will be capable of, sitting on his throne. Demiurges welcomes visitors who arrive in his room by destroying the door using 2 demon guards. While Beerus has his emotions a little more in check, Champa is a lot angrier, asking how dare that bastard exterminate their people and use their planet as his lair. For Demiurges, the answer is simple. He is a god of this universe now, so everything belongs to him. But Beerus disagrees with the demon, saying that the god of this universe will be him. The brothers walk towards Demiurges' throne, and as they do so, Beerus points a hand towards the enemy. In the next moment, an explosion occurs, throwing something out of the castle. The one thrown away is Demiurges, who is protected by an energy shield as he notices Beerus' increase in power. The first to leave the castle is Champa, who flies towards Demiurges, accumulating energy in one of his hands. Such energy that he uses in a punch that is strong enough to crack the demon's energy shield, who is very surprised by this feat. But it's not over yet, and behind Champa comes Beerus. So accumulating power in a punch that, when hit, destroys the energy shield, hits Demiurges right in the ribs, making the Makaioshin spit his evil blood. And finally, the combo is finished by Champa, who hits a flying kick on the demon, pushing him away. Demiurges, Beerus, and Champa fire an energy attack at the same time, but at the moment of collision, the Makaioshin's attack has a disadvantage and is destroyed by the other two, forcing Demiurges to dodge the attack. Taking advantage of the distraction, Champa goes to his back to try a blow. Such a blow that Demiurges escapes to later reappear behind Champa with a spear in his hand. He hurls the spear towards Champa, who notices the attack too late. But luckily for him, Beerus intervenes, holding the weapon before it hits his brother. While breaking the enemy's spear, Beerus says his tricks won't work on them anymore. During their training, Whis uses all kinds of tricks, and his magical powers are far more vast than Demiurges. No matter what trick the Makaioshin uses, they will be ready to fight back. Champa agrees with his brother, and adds that they have greatly increased their powers and Demiurges will not be able to overcome their fighting together. While thinking about Beerus and Champa's words, Demiurges remarks that they are not bluffing, although it does seem like it. These two have matured a lot in the way they fight. He concluded that tricks won't work, and at this point his power is not enough to overcome them fighting together. Beerus decides to have a little chat with his opponent. He asks if Demiurges doesn't know that a universe cannot exist in this chaos. If things continue like this, Zeno will not allow this universe to continue to exist. But for Demiurges, it doesn't matter. As long as he lives, he will spread chaos and evil. That's the reason for his existence. If he dies while doing this, it doesn't matter. Beerus begins to understand his enemy. He will do evil indiscriminately, even if it leads to his inevitable death. Right? Demiurges confirms, and then states that doing evil is as vital to him as breathing, is vital to a mortal. That's why he will never stop until evil completely dominates this universe or until he dies. After hearing all this, Beerus smiles, apparently finally coming to an understanding, but Demiurges doesn't understand the reason for his smile and asks why. Beerus responds, explaining that only now did he understand that Terran was trying to explain to him. Demiurges perfectly fulfills his nature as a demon god, doing what his nature tells him to do regardless of anything. Demiurges plays his role in existence by placing his nature above personal matters. All this talk annoys the demon, who asks what is the relevance of Beerus saying all this now. Beerus responds saying that he is saying all this because Demiurges made him understand the true essence of a god. As he begins to emanate energy of destruction, Beerus suggests that his brother stay away. Champa does as he's told, while Beerus creates an energy orb of destruction. Demiurges sees this with great satisfaction, asking if Beerus wants to confront him using this technique. The demon smiles and calls Beerus an idiot, saying he never learns. Ignoring the enemy's words, Beerus throws his energy. As he sees the attack coming, Demiurges plans to lower the attack power a bit and then absorb it like he did last time. That way he will increase his powers much more and he will be able to beat the two. Demiurges fires a wave of energy at Beerus' Hakai to lower the attack's power a bit, and then waits anxiously for the energy globe to receive the attack head-on. When he is hit by the globe, Demiurges is absorbed by it and then begins the process of absorbing the attack, thanking Beerus for giving him more power, but something is wrong. He can't absorb the energy. Beerus explains why. In the last time his Hakai was filled with negative feelings, that's because his own personality was too flawed, and he didn't quite understand the true purpose of destruction. From now on, he will no longer destroy things based on his own feelings, but because it's his job. Hate, love, empathy, none of these will intervene in his destruction. A god must be above his own feelings. Demiurges is shocked. So Beerus doesn't hate him anymore, but he killed his master and destroyed his people. Doesn't he remember? Beerus says that his master and his people were destroyed because that is the natural order of things, an inescapable fate that applies to all things. Demiurges was just an agent that brought about this, just as he, Beerus, is the agent that is bringing about his destruction. But that answer made the demon god even angrier. How dare this kid put himself above everything like that? Who does he think he is? He replies that he is Beerus the Destroyer, and he's had enough of this. Beerus extends both his arms, pointing at Demiurges and the energy globe that surrounds him. The globe is aimed at the planet's ground, carrying the demon there, contemplating his inevitable end. Demiurges screams in despair, "Hakai!" Beerus shouts, and then a huge explosion occurs. After the destruction of Demiurges and planet Nekose, only Beerus and Champa remain. Going to his brother Champa berates him for destroying their planet. Beerus justifies this by saying that the people of Nekose no longer exist. There is no reason for this planet to continue to exist in the universe. Champa does not agree. What does he mean? The people no longer exist. They are Nekosejans. But Beerus says no. Now they are Champa and Beerus, the gods of destruction. As he approaches listening to the conversation, Whis smiles, saying that Beerus has finally understood what it means to be a deity. Terran was right to choose him as a disciple. Beerus is worthy of the position of god of destruction of this universe. Ro arrives to them, revealing to have also survived the planet's destruction. Tired, he says those demons came in thousands. But when Beerus blew up the planet, most of them died, and those who didn't fled because of Demiurges' death. Whis says that without Demiurges to guide them in the world, most demons must have felt confused without leadership, and will return to the Makai world. And the few that remain, they can calmly deal with later. With a smile on his face, Beerus declares victory. They won. After a few days, in the palace of the Grand Zeno, there were all the gods and angels of the 18 universes, with the exception of the gods of Universe 7, Terran and Gazan, who had been killed. Daishinkan, managing the meeting as usual, breaks the news that apparently everyone already knew. Terran and Gazan were dead, victims of the Makaioshin of their universe called Demiurges. With the news, Garoga and Nua smile while exchanging glances, which catches the attention of Vados, who either already knows something or is realizing something now. Continuing with the speech, Daishinkan says that the situation was resolved thanks to the competence of Terran and Gazan's assistance, and also a mortal. The threat in Universe 7 has been resolved, meaning the universe won't need to be erased by the Grand Zeno. Such news causes great relief to the two brothers. Who doesn't like this news very much is Garoga, who wonders how Demiurges was defeated by these two kids. But that's okay. In the future, he'll think of another way to bring chaos to that universe. But then Garoga notices something while looking at Champa, and then he questions Daishinkan, saying that he understands the reason for Terran and Gazan's disciple to be there, and they will likely become the next gods of Universe 7. But why this other mortal is also present? At that moment, Daishinkan explains that this meeting has two purposes. The first is to announce Beerus and Ro as the next gods of destruction and creation of Universe 7, and the second is to announce the disconnection of the gods of Universe 6 and announce Champa as the next god of destruction. This information leaves Garoga and Nua in complete shock and despair. Daishinkan justifies this decision, saying that it was discovered that they contributed to the chaotic situation of Universe 7. Completely scared, Nua tries to protest, questioning if there is any proof of this. Whis answers, saying he brought a witness. Already in possession of his staff, Whis touches it to the ground, making his witness appear, the old witch. In desperation, Garoga asks what that woman is doing there. She responds, saying that she warned that no one breaks an agreement with her and goes unpunished. With a crystal ball in her hand, the witch reveals the moment of the meeting between them to discuss the success of the plan. Daishinkan reveals that, in the face of this irrefutable proof, the Grand Zeno has decided to judge them guilty of disturbing the peace between the universes and breaking the laws of the gods. And because of the witch's brave testimony, she was spared. Anxious for the part that interests him, Zeno asks if he can erase them now. Daishinkan says yes. Garoga tries to speak, begging for mercy, but Zeno won't even listen and raises his arms, completely erasing the two Universe 6 gods from existence. There is not even a trace of them left. After that meeting the next day, another meeting was held where the ritual to transform Beerus into the new Hakaishin of Universe 7 took place. And in that meeting, his life was linked to Ro, who officially became the new Kaioshin. The next day, another ritual was performed, this time to proclaim Champa the new Hakaishin of Universe 6. In this way, the two twin brothers went to different universes. And since then, they have a great rivalry about which universe is the best. Not long after, the old witch, who had her life spared by the Grand Zeno for having testified against Garoga and Nua, managed to gain access to the supreme world of Universe 7. And still aiming to reach divinity, stole one of Ro's Potara earrings and placed it in her ear, believing that wearing an accessory from a god would make her a goddess. Unfortunately, things didn't go as she wanted, and this ended up resulting in their fusion. Ro ended up becoming a very ugly old Kaioshin with a very eccentric personality. Beerus ended up getting very tired of the old Kaioshin's pranks, which made him a lot of embarrassment in the meeting of the gods, and so the Destroyer sealed the Kaioshin in the Z-Sword, since he couldn't kill him. After doing so, he stuck the sword into a rock on the Supreme Planet. Over time, Beerus became more and more powerful, and because he didn't find anyone in his universe who could match him, he became extremely bored and hibernated in long sleep. Thanks to Beerus' long rests, the future Kaioshins needed to take care of the universe alone. And over the years, this ended up causing many problems to arise in Universe 7, and made it fall a lot in the average among all universes, being penultimate in that average in current times. But despite everything, Universe 7 has always survived, at least until now. And that was the 6th and final chapter of Dragon Ball Hakai Special, The Story of Beerus. I hope everyone enjoyed the story. Remember that you can read the whole story on our website, dbhakai.com, as well as the main story of Dragon Ball Hakai. Thanks to all of you who followed us through this whole story. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget your like and subscribe to the channel as we become 150,000 subscribers. Until the next time, bye-bye.